Welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Good morning, guys. Hello and welcome. Happy hump day to all you humps out there in humpland. It is Un Poco Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. You know, the market is really kind of trying to decide what it wants to do, trying to decide if it's going to find a bottom. Of course, a lot of eyes are on Nvidia earnings, as they always are. I was reading an article. It's Nvidia's in the unique position that kind of the fear around the AI trade sort of pulled down the market, which is the opposite of what Nvidia has been doing for the last several years, really pushing this whole tech rally, tech bubble, AI bubble, whatever you want to call it. The difference, I think, is that why Nvidia is up today is Nvidia earns money today, at a ton of money, at incredible margins, and they seem to be able to continue to maintain this massive market share in these data center processes. The margins are incredible, and the business just, so it sort of seems like it's like magic beans, like they've figured out some formula. Their technology developed just at the right place and time to sort of be the perfect vessel to take advantage of this incredible AI revolution we find ourselves in here, folks. But didn't come to you today, hat in hand, to talk about NVDA. I wanted to talk to you actually about a weird little penny stock called IOVA, Iovance Biotherapeutics. This one is getting really beat up today. You see, it's been trading anywhere between, 240, 260, kind of 270 area. It got some really, really good lung cancer data they just came out with. Incredible, durable response, like double the response rate to any standard of care now. So, you guys remember, I didn't make videos about it, unfortunately. I wish I would have in retrospect, but there was a company, SMMT, that I purchased a lot of shares at around $1. And then the stock ran up in short order at almost $30. And the only reason I bought that stock, was that I saw one of the insiders, one of the founders, he made a open market buy $100 million. And this was not a really big market cap that he bought a huge percentage of the. I saw that and I was like, this guy knows everything about this company and he's a very wealthy guy. He's been very successful investor. So I went ahead and just chucked in, but I was very, kind of gun shy because I've been getting my nuts clipped every penny stock I go into. But I try to say 9 out of 10 of them, you're going to lose all your money or mostly all your money. And then you're trying to hit a home run on that 10th one to sort of make up for it and sort of feed the beast, feed the gambling monkey that you find perched on your shoulder, that little devil that wants you to go ahead and buy this crap. But this is a real company, guys. I mean, they have an FDA approved cure for melanoma, and they have, like I said, these guys got more trials going on than Lance Ito. I mean, to do a little OJ throwback. I guess OJ finally passed away, and the Goldman family is finally going to get some money. I guess the state accepted their claim. I was reading some article. I don't know, guys. I don't sleep much, so I read a lot of random articles, but don't really need to go back to the days of the OJ trial. Anyway, I can't remember. That's just such a spectacle. Like Judge Ito is like letting in like dream evidence, and it's just crazy, crazy. I was watching that on TV all the time. I was just fascinated by it because at the time I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, and um, it was just mind blowing. I was like, is this really how it works? This is more like some bad theatrical production than it didn't seem like a serious proceeding. It all was like this sort of random, soliloquies by all the attorneys and the judge. And like, isn't this supposed to be sort of a formal process governed by, formal rules of procedure? No, apparently not. We just kind of make it up as we go along. But anyway, guys, Iovance, why do I really love this one? It's basically their pipeline. They have an FDA approved cure for melanoma that's, every time they put out more data, it just looks better and better. And then they just put out some phase one data for lung cancer, relatively small sample, but it was just unbelievable data. It's like they couldn't even find the end of the effective duration because it just kept going on so long at like 25 months, and the standard of care runs out of gas at like 6-8 months. So it's unbelievable. it's absolutely unbelievable. And you look at all of these combinations of their drugs, they're going right now, they're already in pivotal study for cervical cancer, they're in a pivotal study, non-small cell lung cancer, pivotal. They got three other, phase twos going on, and then they have a pivotal study with for melanoma in combination with Pembro, and then they have five other phase two studies for all these other. It's basically this is a novel approach, TIL therapy they call it. It can cure almost any solid tumor because the way this thing works is that it uses the body's own immune response and amplifies those cells. I was looking at you know basically Copilot and Chat GTP, which is how I do all my research now because I'm a big lazy jerk. But their tumor fighting lymphocyte TIL therapies can be applied across many cancers because they harness the patient's own immune cells to recognize and attack tumor specific antigens. Since most solid tumors present unique antigens that TILs can target, the approach is broadly adaptable rather than limited to one cancer type. So this can go across not only melanoma, cervical cancer, head and neck cancer, lung cancers, and many more. Share the feature of harboring infiltrating lymphocytes. That means the same therapeutic principle can be applied widely. So, you guys can read your own if this thing goes and this becomes a standard. SMMT went from 80 cents to $30 in short order. I'm not saying this is going to do this because again they had a big deal in China with a major company, so they have a road to market, a road to profit, and a lot of people are very interested in their drug. But my point is, if you become the standard of care for the most common type of lung cancer, you're going to be printing money. It's just that simple. And the data they put out, while early, looks incredibly, incredibly promising. So, do your own research on it. But basically, what I wanted to point out is 30% short of the free float. They just have shorted this stock to death, and they continue to do so. Now, you think, okay, there's no institutional ownership. No, there's like Chat GTP and these others, and many sites are telling me 90% institutional ownership, low insider ownership. Fintel's telling me 18% institutional ownership and 62%, or excuse me, 62% institutional ownership and 18% insider ownership. These are kind of all over the place because a lot of times what they do is they identify biotech or other pharma companies that invest in small pharma companies. They'll identify them both as an insider because they're not technically an institutional investor. They're not financial companies, they're drug companies. So they identify them sometimes as insiders, which, they probably shouldn't. But Wayne Rothbaum, independent director, he's sitting on 7% of the company. Wojtycki David J., the great Wojtycki. They called him the Wojtyckler back in his fraternity days. But that's a whole nother story. You got a Bristol Investment Fund, 1% of the company. So break it down for yourself. But bottom line, when you have a huge short on a company and there's a huge amount of institutional ownership, it spells trouble for that short. I mean, especially when a company is getting their finances in order, they have data coming out that shows they have viable cures for, non-small cell lung cancers. They have viable cure for cervical cancer. And, these turds just want to basically tiny wing hammer candle these guys down into the dust again. And they've been pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. You can see from the chart, this level we're at here has been very critical going back like 6 months. It kind of, ran out of gas here at 240. That was resistance. And then obviously it broke through this huge pump. I don't know, was that earnings? I don't know what the hell that was. I can't remember everything, but obviously this has been, found resistance 280, then pushing it down to 250, 237, and, topped out at 237 repeatedly. So is this a full breakdown or is this just a short dump attack the stock? I mean, look at this hammer candle. It's just absolutely dragging it back down, I think, to the levels in these same institutions, I think, are very comfortable accumulating here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to sort of, fix the price in this range. But I just look at the institutions that own this thing, and I see a setup here. I see a setup from the jump. If you look Vanguard, that's a little bit older filing, but MHR Fund, they came in last quarter with a new position at $7.18, almost 30 million shares. BlackRock just filed, increased their shares by 11.7%, 26 million shares. Their average cost is $9. You can buy the stock today for 2.25. But what does BlackRock know? They don't make any money. Vanguard decreased by 4%, but still owns 24 million shares. Their average cost $12.09. State Street increased $35. If you guys know Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Geo, these guys own the whole market. They run the whole market along with Goldman, Morgan Fudley, many of these others. But these are your biggest, they make the most trading profits of any of these, mega institutions out there. State Street increased 34%. I don't know who Ivernomic Capital is, but they increased 27%. Vanguard, again, big increase. Long Focus Capital decreased, but Palo Alto, big increase, and you can see they're averaging down. Their average cost is 409. But Geode, again, big increase, 10% increase, average cost 944. So the companies that are taking a bath on this from their average position, the only reason they're still adding down here is because they know they're going to send it back up. And that's the scam, guys. They run the same scam on you over and over and over. They push down, they take the shares, they push back up. And it's not rocket science. But you see, like, what they were basically shorting the financials here, shorting the run. They got a new CFO, tons of cost cutting measures. They got their house in order. Yes, they're probably going to have to raise more money, at least one more money raise, because the melanoma revenue is not coming in quite as fast as we'd like. But that always happens, especially on these tiny companies. They have no experience, selling a product. They have experience researching and developing products. This is the first time they're going to market. So I think, all things considered, they're doing a hell of a good job, to be honest with you. But, obviously the price action disagrees with me. But listen, don't look at what they say. What they say is the price action. Look at what they do. Okay? Actions, not words. What they do is the buy and sell. What they say is the price action they try to use to scare the hell out of you, get you to crap your pants, sell the dip, and smell the rip. Because let's be honest, you guys are weak sauce turds. Tiny Wang All-Stars, Shinebox Humps, Hump Day Heroes. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great one, by the way. Probably Neo getting beat to hell. I don't even know. Haven't even looked at it. Yes, of course. Super Micro, I know, is down. Guys, today, if I had any money, which I have a tiny bit, been rolling some change, I'm buying CRISPR, I'm buying SMCI, I'm buying Sofi, I'm buying IOVA, I'm buying Prop, I'm buying a bunch of other stocks too. I'm buying Home Depot, might even buy some Meta. I added a little bit of Nvidia, if I'm honest. I added a little bit more Hood yesterday. I'm not a huge Hood fan. I know I bash them all the time, but hell, they're a really good company, and they've been, I think Hood is going to have a lot of problems if crypto really, crashes and persists, because I think a lot of their members are high flyers and they're, overextended on margin, not a lot of money in the bank, not a lot of gas in the tank, not a lot of wang in the shank, if you know what I mean. Little short in the chonies, but I don't know. I've never technically measured, but I feel like the SoFi savers have a little bit bigger advantage south of the equator, if you know what I mean, to the Robinhood traders. But I might be a bit biased. But you got to measure under the fat, guys. You got to measure under the fat. You need a block and tackle, couple of pulleys, Warren Winch, Army Corps of Engineers, jaws of life. You got to get down there to that pubic bone. Don't want to shortchange old Danny. Old Danny needs every centimeter he can get. No, I know you're celebrating, but you're reading the metric side. Like, oh no, they got the katana. The katana broke and stabbed Neil. You guys want to watch a little Cutlery Corner with me late night? We're making it available. It's a full dealer case of the bumblebees. Oh my God, we're throwing in the sheath. Ah! What are you guys screaming about? Are you guys on bath salts and methamphetamine? You're selling giant sets of throwaway knives, to idiots. Why do you need 400 pocket knives? You do not own a sporting goods store. You do not own a fishing store. You do not. These knives are going in your closet so you can hit a dry jerk with them when you're cleaning your AR-15 or whatever. That's who's buying these dealer cases on Cutlery Corner. Is that the opal snake eye? Oh, I haven't seen that in months. I can't believe we got those back in stock. Fucking lunatics. I love those guys. If anybody knows the guys from Cutlery Corner, can hook me up. I like to party. Tell them I'm not gay, but I'm very gay friendly. And I do like to party. So you can take that how you will. Definitely leaving the door open. No. My hairline is looking especially high today, but it's not shiny. It's not too hot. I only start sweating when it gets to about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, best to stay away from penny stock bios. Very true. I always lose all my money. I'm just telling you what I'm looking at. I'm not saying it's a wise decision. If you guys have any brains in your head, listen to Jimmy the Sausage King of Chicago. He's a personal friend of Abe Froman, by the way. Who else is here, guys? Of course, the great Nauta Lurker, the greatest wrench in the business. Hello and welcome, guys, by the way. It's Un Poco Moss. They call me cornbread because I'm moist, doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me the tugboat because I'm short in stature. I really throw. I don't know why they call me all these things. I guess just the voices in my head. But guys, SMCI market cap is under $20 billion. Okay? They're going to sell, they're saying at the low side, 36 billion this year. And they're not taking a huge loss. And with all due respect to my good friend Alfredino Traxful and his color change ice cream man glasses, you can't have everything. You can't grow a company from just a few years ago trading a couple billion and they've 10x sales in like 4 years. And then you're going to say, because the margins are contracting slightly on the trailing edge of a product cycle, and management could be sandbagging those margin remarks. They could be taking a page out of Noto's book. But guys, it's a rough day at the office. Let's be honest. The NASDAQ kind of spiked. It looked like, hey, the bear market might be over. But yeah, guys, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm not, nafa peppo. Nafa Feppo, not financial advice for entertainment purposes only. I think Home Depot is a strong buy here. I mean, it's a great company, well managed. They're not going anywhere. Yes, if we get to a recession, people are going to spend less at Home Depot and it'll go down. But it's a rock solid blue chip company. They pay a really nice dividend. I think if you're looking to get out of some tech, get into something defensive. I think the drop on Home Depot earnings on guidance was just, it's overblown. It's an overreaction. And this is what always happens in this market. A stock will drop, 10%. Maybe it should have dropped 5%. And then it'll recover that 5% over the next, couple of weeks generally. It doesn't actually take that long. But it's just a ton of fear inside the market, guys. Hold on one sec. Got to take this. Sorry about that, guys. Apologies. I had to take that. My contractor got a problem. Leak this, that. What are you gonna do? Anyway, guys, that's just all I want to do is just put IOVA on your radar. And you know, the Sausage King is right. You will lose your money with the vast majority of small biotech penny stocks. I can I can tell you he's right because I invest in thousands of these things over the years, and or hundreds anyway, probably 1,000. I don't know. I'm in 10 of them at any given time, 20. So, I'm just a big idiot, but I do it with a very, very small percentage of my portfolio. Like usually I have 2%, 3% of my portfolio in penny stocks at the most. I do try to be prudent, even though I enjoy the gambling aspect of it. I don't do it with, a ton of, money. Wheat green tea. Anyway, guys, I guess that's really about all I had for this idiotic video. What's up, Lisa? How you doing? Um, hey, thank you. You have a fantastic day as well. I'm liking Elf back at these prices. Let's take a look at it. What's up, Rolling Dubs? Such a big fan of Steve that yeah, I am a huge fan of Steve, but I am not investing in Pokemon cards. It's actually interesting because I don't see the big difference. Anything that's scarce and has value and has a market could be an investment, whether it be fine art or baseball cards or you know stamps, numismatics, whatever. Um, NLSC data isn't that good. Not reached the 20 months. I understand what you're saying, but compare it. I have read all this, but compare it to the standard of care. I've read numerous articles now about that lung cancer data, and a lot of people think it was that good. So I don't know. You read some of the articles, and maybe you think Nick Embry's correct, and it wasn't very good, or it wasn't that good. People are. The criticism I saw is that it's such a small sample, you can't get too excited about it. But if that data holds up over the large, then it's way better than what they have now, is it not? I might be wrong. But I don't think I am, because I'm not giving my opinion. I'm giving, opinions of science people that I read. But, I'm never try to tell you like I understand these results because I don't. I'm an econ poli sci guy, I'm not a science guy. Princess J honors biochem, all that stuff. So when I do, I can ask her about this stuff too. But I prefer to read and not bother her. Yeah, SoFi, very tough day for SoFi too. I don't, I'm like I said, of all the stocks I own, SoFi is one of the ones I worry about the least because this company is just absolutely crushing it. And I think it's the same bears and the same institutions and the same shorts that have been dumping shares since the ER. I think there was plenty of buying pressure over 30, plenty of buyers over 30 when you compare, SoFi to some of these other valuations. I think the stock is undervalued at this point. And I think JP Morgan putting a target on it, and it's a lot of these other companies, UBS, they're saying like 26, 28. They're basically signaling to the market they don't want it over 30 right now. There's too many retail investors that own too many shares, and we're not going to let these fat, tiny wing schlubs make a dime. So we're going to push down. We're going to bludgeon them over the head. I mean, listen, since this thing touched 30 the first time, they've come down and tested the 25 area once, twice, 3 times. This is a little loose, but you could call it 4, even if you don't. 4, 5. I mean, 5 tests before it's going to move back up. Kramer was right. This is going to leg up. It's either going to get in the S&P 500 sooner or a little bit later. And when it does, you saw what these other companies did. They make a huge move off of that S&P 500 inclusion. I think there were buyers. I think the stock wanted to run after the ER. They stepped on it quite successfully. But what they haven't been successful at is, I think, shaking retail off the stock. Yeah, some of the swing traders, day traders, they're able to, keep hammering these people over and over and over again. But the bottom line is, I guess they're killing a lot of calls and making a lot of money that way. you know. So I can get that. I mean, market makers know what they're doing. They're not going to do something and lose money just because I'm ranting about it. But the bottom line is this company is going up. It's going to become a huge company. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep increasing margins. It's going to keep doing well in up and down markets. It's going to keep the stellar reputation it has with its members. It's going to keep giving members a better deal to get their money right. It's going to keep reducing customer acquisition costs. It's going to keep increasing the amount of products that are sold through cross selling, which is basically free, customer acquisition. It's going to keep increasing these platforms, a fee based, high margin fee based business, the tech based income. That's going to give you those profit margins. That's going to get you to a tech multiple. The fact that the company is a nationally chartered bank is a huge positive, not a negative, and should not drag their multiple. They shouldn't be getting a hybrid multiple. They should be getting a full-throated fintech multiple. Or even better than these other. Because I believe some of these other fintechs, buy now, pay later, scratch your balls afterward, refi, get a second mortgage to finance your groceries at Walmart. Is that really a company you want to be in because they have a thing at Amazon checkout? Is that proprietary? Is that permanent? Is that durable competitive advantage? Or is that a flash in the pan? Is that the flavor of the month? Mr. Saturday Night. Tall, dark, and handsome. Am I right? Looks pretty good riding a mechanical bull, but when it's time to pay the rent, old slick left town. You know what I mean? Know what I mean, ladies? Know what I mean? Big schlong and a lot of promises. Ugh. The promise of a big schlong and then the face of disappointment. Yeah, I don't know. It must have been dark when I measured, or I was really drunk. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess it was a little bit off. Trying to explain away your lies. Yeah, I like to wear, these leopard thongs. I really like to party. Oh, guys, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm fixated on tiny wangs and gay stuff and, just idiotic juvenile humor. What's up, Mr. Premier the Option? How are you today, good sir? Sofi is killing me right now. Yeah, I know, Carl, but listen, this is healthy price action. It was 31 coming into yeah, we'd all like to see it just run up to 35 and we all ride off into the sunset with our tiny wings, getting mushed into our saddle. We've all been there, guys. But stocks don't go up forever in a straight line. It just went from 7 to 30. So it's not just going to go right to 50. It's going to go back to 25 and then go to 50, which is fine. You're the mattress king of Chicago, god damn it. Act like it. If I lose Carl Seamark, I've lost everything. Lost the war, lost the battle, lost my mind. Lose my will to live. Et tu, Carl. Et tu. The Ides of March and a pillow top. No, seriously, yeah, I'm fucking caring about it every minute too. Believe me, feeling your pain. But again, the fundamentals are the fundamentals. The performance is the performance. The business model is just starting to have the opportunity to work as intended. Now is not the time. Now is not the time to get your, long face, pouty Karen, bullshit and infect my airwaves, Carl. I'm just joking. You say whatever. I don't give a flying fuck. Let's see. Just talking about Anthony Noto. What's up, everybody? There's really nobody here, so it's pretty easy to say hi to everybody. Lisa, the great Lisa SH, and her beautiful whites out there in wherever she is. I imagine like the Hamptons or something, but could be she lives in Kansas City. I don't know. Runs a barbecue restaurant. What kind of brave woman runs a barbecue restaurant in a white suit? Only the great Lisa. By the way, guys, I haven't got any offers to finance my barbecue restaurant. I'm looking to get into a nice barbecue restaurant where I insult all the customers. I got a giant cleaver We're gonna make millions, guys. I'll work like a dog. I just don't want to, go bankrupt and lose all my money. I'd prefer to one of you deep pockets, Richie Rich, Scrooge McDuck types out there want to stake me. You guys have seen that movie where what's his name? That Scientology guy, Tom Cruise, that little LP Scientology. No, seriously. If Xenu is listening, please don't come after me. I'm fat and I'm slow of foot, slow of wit. I cannot compete with your legal name. No. I'll sue you. I'll sue you in England. Go ahead. Not financial advice, guys. Not even entertaining. I don't know what it's for. You have to figure that out. Should we just transition this right into a Sofi live stream? But I already made a title. 3, 2, 1. Let's Poco indeed. What's up, Emilio? You selling any insurance? You skinny little mop-headed freak. I'll buy some life insurance from you. You work for somebody who's licensed in California? I'll buy some fucking supplemental coverage. What the fuck? God knows Princess J accidentally pushes me off a cliff our next vacation. I don't know what happened. He was going on and on about stocks, and then he just fell off the cruise ship. Why do you have that baseball bat, ma'am? I just couldn't listen to his big fat head go on anymore, but I definitely didn't hit him over the head with his bat. Now, Princess J would never murder me. I hope. I am pretty obnoxious and tough to take, but she's a saint. That woman is an absolute saint. Cool. Yeah, let me know. Put it down in the comments when you're licensed over here. I'll buy some coverage from you, buddy. I'm not kidding around. I will. I'll throw some business your way. When you're starting out, you got to have people throw business your way. And I know the audience will too, because I know I got a lot of not a lurker, of course. He's in shape and he's going to live forever. Guys like the Jack LaLanne of bald people, making Mrs. Lurker Elaine LaLanne. Do you think about things like that, ladies? If your name's Elaine and you're going to marry a guy named Jack LaLanne, does that even go into your equation, your algorithm? It's just going to sound odd being Elaine LaLanne. Or you're like, hey, this guy's, sexy as fuck and he makes great juicers. So I don't mind a little babbity. I don't know how you ladies think. Believe me, Princess J could tell you that. I understand women about as well as I understand nuclear fusion. I got you, Emilio. You gotta. It's like Boiler Room. You gotta get you gotta do your 30 leads, and you gotta kick them upstairs to Vin Diesel. Then you gotta deal with, Giovanni Ribisi. He's gotta, dating this beautiful black girl in the office. His boss is jelly. Boss gets all pissed off because he's got a tiny wang, and she doesn't want to go out with him anymore. She's like, I'm thick. You got a tiny wang. I don't care if your pockets are large. Giovanni Ribisi over here hit me right. He's like, well, hey, come on, what's the deal? He's like, is that Vin Diesel from Fast and the Furious? Like, I'm in finance now. Like, you sound like Sylvester Stallone. Like, thank you. Blah, blah. Anyway, guys, I don't know what the point of this video was. I guess I was talking about IOVA, but it's continuing to crash. I'm going to hang up the phone. I'm going to put my brother on the phone and buy some more IOVA. I just believe this stock under $1 billion market cap really doesn't make any sense. The pipeline could be worthless, but it could be worth untold billions. We just don't know. So yes, that's why these things are a huge gamble. And that's why most of them go to zero, because there's all kinds of problems that can develop, But right now, I think the main problems associated with this company were on the financial side, and I think they're getting all that in order. So if you're getting your house in order and you have incredible science behind you, 31% short interest, very, very high institutional ownership, low liquidity, low float, low turnover, you got a ton of days to cover, I would guess. I don't really know. I shouldn't say these things before I look. It's kind of foot meets mouth, foot meets butt. Yeah, no, days to cover have gone from 4 to 7.5. So if you get some kind of big catalyst, you get some kind of big data dump that's just too big to be ignored. This stock can definitely short squeeze and double in short order. Remember, like, these big institutions, BlackRock, they're loading and their average cost is 4 or 5 times these levels. So what does it say to you that they still have the confidence to load the boat in Q3, after they've been paying $12 or more for these shares? Because they know it's a walk down. It's a Billy Zane style walk off. It's a walk off. It's a walk off. You've seen Zoolander. You ever tried to remove your tidy whities in that fashion? You will definitely do an apple bag guillotine and lose both testicles. I'm working with one testicle, but it definitely hasn't hampered my trading any. Lefty's doing the work for 2. Me and Lance Armstrong, we know how to get things done. You want a bunch of Tour de France's cheating with one testicle, and I'm here on YouTube talking to 21 people with one testicle. So we both had our dreams come true, crashed down pretty hard. I never went out with Sheryl Crow, but all I want to do is have some fun anyway. So I have been to Santa Monica Boulevard. So I got that going for me, which is nice. So I said, Llama, what about a little something for the effort? You will have eternal, what do you say? Perfect knowledge. I can't remember. Okay, so we got that going for me, which is nice. Carl. I think Nvidia's earnings are going to be quite strong. I mean, I think Nvidia wanted to, it's the same situation, Carl, with Sofi. Nvidia wanted to go up over 200. It did. Plenty of buyers up there, plenty of hype, valuation concerns, pull it back down. Fundamentally, it's an incredible business, and the business is not showing any weakness. They're not losing significant market share to, AMD. They're the leader of the pack, and they will definitely lose some of that market share. Anytime you have these giant margins in a giant market and you're controlling the whole thing, competition will come. I mean, it has to. It's like if you just have a solid gold waterfall and you're there just harvesting gold coins all by yourself, somebody else is going to come along and say, hey, this is easy money. Of course it's not. It's incredibly difficult. Nvidia, they were just set up for this. They were graphics. You guys know them if you're old school like me. You know them as like graphics processors, then like PCs, and it just evolved these chips. And they were making these, chips for industry. Anyway, guys, I apologize. I got to run. I'm going to end this thing here. It's un poco mas. I'll get back at you a little later with some Sofi and some other stuff. Thanks for watching.